Hello, my name is Kathy Crothers, and I'm here to talk uh, about Kids Have Stress Too, which is a very dynamic workshop that was written and developed by the Psychology Foundation of Canada. And this is our third segment, our third and final segment of Kids Have Stress Too. And so what we're going to begin with today is a little bit of a review. So what we've been talking about are the difference between stress and anxiety. We've been talking about what are stressors. We've given you, last segment, we talked about HALT, which is, it's like a stop sign for parents and caregivers, educators, grandmas like me, hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. So we talked about that in segment 2. And also a very, very good tool for your toolbox is called Stop, Look, and Listen. That also is good information for parents, all of us. And not only in stressful situations can we use stop, look, and listen. We can use that when we're trying to get information about or seek answers from almost any situation. So today, what I want to begin with is talking about stress management in good times. So even when your child is not showing signs of stress, it's still a good idea to encourage everyday, predictable activities that make them feel good about themselves. So an example is making sure that your child has plenty, as much free play, that's unstructured play, that's play that's led by them. Play helps children let go of some of their stress, just like us adults. When we're playful, we are able to forget about those stresses that sometimes can be the tipping point in a day. So, who says a bath always has to be about getting clean? Maybe a bath might be just a way of relaxing. So children require 10 to 12 hours of sleep every night. So establish a regular bedtime. And what's important about going to bed at the same time is getting up at the same time every day. So again, routine, rituals, and vigorous physical activity is another stress reliever, and it increases the overall health and wellness of all of us. So riding a bike, going for a long walk in the park, along the trails, playing a game of soccer. You know what your family likes to do. So physical, rigorous activity. Here's a big one. And in the times that we are in, this is a little more difficult. Limit TV, computers, video games, and encourage your children to be active and be active with them. Allow your child to make small choices for their age. So, do you want to wear your red shirt or your green shirt today? Would you like this cereal or this cereal? Small choices are a very good way to help them gain control of their beautiful world. And show your child that you love them with words, with hugs, with kisses. Play and laugh together. So this is just a quick off the side. We also talked about modeling. And so this one is when we're modeling for the kids. Say you're packing in the groceries and you have to wash the groceries, or you're trying to get ready to go somewhere, and you realize that you are stressed yourself. You can always say, wow, in my case, wow, is Grandma ever feeling stressed? Can you help me take a few deep breaths so I can start to feel better? Dealing with stress, it's not always an easy detection. All of a sudden there can be an amazing blowout, but relaxation techniques are very, very effective. So one way to help the children realize how important breathing deeply can change their mood is to help them think about blowing a balloon up in their tummy. So, taking a deep breath and pretending that they have a balloon in their tummy, and then go. So, that example, oh, Grandma's so stressed out. Mommy needs some help. I'm stressed out. Will you help me take some deep breaths? Let's pretend we're going to make our tummies like a balloon. So, in through our nose, out through our mouth. Just a couple will help us. You know, another way to help with deep breathing is blowing bubbles, right? So if we don't have bubbles to blow, we can pretend. Let's blow bubbles together. Help them understand that no technique will work all the time, but deep breathing is very good for your mind and your body. Okay, so let's move forward to, can some stress be avoided? This, as a mom, was one thing I really had to focus on. So it's possible. It's very possible to prevent some stress for children. One of my daughters really did not like to be around a whole bunch of people for a long period of time. So what we did for her was we limited her birthday party time. So rather than have a 3-hour birthday party or, an extravagant bowling party, we just had cake, ice cream, a couple of games, and ta-da, with limited amounts of people. Another thing to be aware of is many young children do not do well in West Edmonton Mall, at any mall for that matter. The sights, the sounds, the smells are too much. So those are things, or times, events that you can limit the time, avoid going. Make sure if you're going to go, it's at the time in the day where your child has the most energy. And if you have to go, bring water, snacks, maybe their favorite teddy, their something that brings them a feeling of safety and security. Okay, this is my favorite part. It's all my favorite part. But let's talk about feelings. So I was saying earlier that, talking about stress and modeling, when we model our own feelings and emotions, we are teaching the children that having feelings and emotions is the right thing. It's what we need to do, or we always do, but we need to talk about them. So research has shown that people talk about feelings. Their prefrontal cortex, that's the part of the brain, is stimulated, and the acting out part of the brain, the amygdala, becomes less active. So the very first step to talking about your emotions feelings is to label them. Help the children understand what frustrating means. Frustrating is continually losing your cell phone and your keys. And, help them use their words. Like, I wonder if you still might be angry about what happened earlier. So, I guess you felt mad when Mom took away the ball from both you and your brother. Excuse me. These little conversations help children begin to know what emotion they're feeling. One in particular is jealousy. Jealousy is an emotion or a feeling. It's a feeling that causes a lot of anxiety. And if we are able to help children understand what it is, then when they talk to us about their feelings, it can often bring a ginormous feeling of safety and understanding between the both of you. It's that serve and return. The one thing I want you to remember is it takes a long time for children to develop emotional control. You'll see, and that's age appropriate. Children don't always talk about their emotions or identify them. It's not always a quick fix, but it is a solid foundation for the rest of their life if they're able to get it right. So just be there. Just being there is really important. So if your child is reluctant or resistant to talking about their feelings, talking about their emotions, that's okay. Sometimes what they need, is a chance to just consume the idea that you're sitting next to them, that you're with them. You know, company, just being good company. So in the just being there, doing something fun, like maybe it's playing some balloon volleyball. Very simple, cost-effective way of just having fun. Or having a staring contest. They're brief moments where just being there really counts. And, you know, one thing that's very important, and I talked about this earlier, is getting your timing right. So what goes with getting your timing right is giving your child the space and the time to unwind. Sometimes one of my daughters loved being in her room. When she'd say, I'm frustrated, I'm going to my room. And within minutes, I could hear her singing and laughing, having a very good time, talking to all her teddies and her dolls, and really enjoying those four walls all alone in her sanctuary. So one of the most talked about stressors is transitioning. So many childcare providers, early education centers, daycares, day homes have talked about transitioning. I know that even when our grandsons come to our house, those transition times can be very tricky, very tricky. So we have to remember that feeling rushed puts a pressure on children that's similar to our being an adult and being rushed. It's even more intense for children because they don't have the same sense of time that we do. And so if at all possible, plan to give yourself some more time. Plan that you have time to give the children your timetable, tell them what's coming next. My youngest daughter, if I spent just a few minutes the night before telling her what was going to happen the very next day, or on the weekend when we went to a family wedding, if I included her in what the planning process was, she had a lot less meltdowns, and she felt like she was a part of the team. So let's go on to drop off and pick up time. So these are times when mom and dad have a chance to talk to grandma and grandpa. At the early learning branches, it's where parents have a chance to find out what's been going on with their children in the day. And most parents want to know. So what what is an advantage is if you can, in that drop off and pick up time just before, talk to your children about when you're coming back, and when you come back, ask them how their time was. Get an idea from them what their day was like. And tune in to the words that they use or the names that they say. Connect and cuddle. And do not be surprised if your child falls apart shortly after you pick them up from childcare and or maybe grandma and grandpa's. This is normal. Children often save up their very strong feelings all day long and let them out when they get home. They let them out in their place of comfort. And you, the one that they trust the most. It's also important to remember those strong feelings that they have for auntie or uncle, grandma, grandpa, and the early educators, teachers. The children grow to love their teachers, and that's what we want them to do. So when they get home, if they fall apart, those strong feelings might be that they miss them too. What I want to do is review the key concepts of kids have stress too. And why I want to do that is that the number one key concept is this information was put together and written by the Psychology Foundation of Canada so that educators, parents, and caregivers, grandma and grandpas, can help children manage their stress. It's also good information for us as well. This allows the both of you, children and caregivers, to have a common language and a way of alleviating a whole lot of stressful times. We talked about the signs and symptoms of too much stress. You remember that you know your children the best. You know the children in your daycare, in your day home, in your family. You know your nieces and nephews. So stop, look, and listen. Use HALT. And evaluate what are the stress signs the little people in your life are giving you. Children who can recognize, acknowledge, and express their own feelings appropriately cope better with stress. This skill provides them with lifelong skills that add to their resilience. That's the bounce back. If we're allowing them to manage their own stress and find ways to respond versus react, we're helping them build the strongest foundation and resilience that anybody could ask for. So relaxation strategies can help reduce children's reaction to stress. It is very important that we take the time to help them breathe, give them a bath, blow bubbles, and be creative in finding ways to help them relax. With help, children can learn to solve their own problems. Be as innovative as you can when you're helping the children solve problems. So, what an idea. What happened? What happened in this problem? And what are you going to do about it? What can we ask questions? What can we do better? And how big is this problem? Asking them questions and letting them answer. Don't finish their sentence. Don't put words in their mouth, and pay attention to the way in which they've talked to you about it. There are simple ways. This is key concept number 6, and we just talked about it. There are simple ways to avoid stress, and realizing that your child might be completely opposite. Like in my instance, where my daughter, she doesn't like a whole bunch of people for a whole lot of time. And for those that know me, no, I like a whole bunch of people for a long time. When children speak harshly or critically to themselves, they create more stress. Using a positive voice can really lower stress. So be aware that words that you use, if they are negative, children pick up on those. Children pick up on those, and they will begin to use them themselves. So the next time you think, wow, I look overweight in this dress. I look like an old granny in this shirt. Those words are actually being instilled in their way of thinking. Try to be very positive. I hope that one of the phrases that I used in these 3 segments of tell the children what to do, not what not to do. Try your very best to tell them what to do and speak positively. So remember, walking in the house only, rather than no running in the house. This is number 8. Physical activity is a proven strategy for coping with stress and promoting self-regulation. That's the key. We want children to experience stress. Good stress is stress that's manageable. It is igniting the potential to do better, to think differently, to have a different viewpoint when children experience stress, common, everyday stress. We do not want those stresses to manifest into unhealthy, toxic stresses. Some can't be avoided, like death in the family. So use some of the coping strategies that I talked about, and you'll see a difference. Now, I'd like to end by talking about different kids experience different kinds of stress, just like us. We all are different, unique, and beautiful in our own way. So what's stressful for me is not stressful for you, and vice versa. Not all children experience stress at meal times. Not all children experience stress without their tablet or their iPad. Some could care less about riding their bike. So, and understand that we're all different. And if someone talks to you about seeing a stress in your child, that's not a bad thing either. So, an example of that would be, gee, I noticed little Nash was talking about his friend at the park, and he became very anxious when he was telling me that he hadn't seen his best friend, his neighbor, for quite some time. It gives you, as a parent, an opportunity to experience or to understand that your child just might have a stress that you didn't think of. Maybe Nash's neighbor have just gone through a change in the family and a separation, and he just wants to play for an hour. And that's exactly what happened, is Nash got time to play with his friends. Different kids make the world go around. Thank you for watching these videos, and I want to encourage you to watch the videos. There's 3 of them, and the town of Devon has put them on the site. I'm sure you'll enjoy every one of them, and have yourself a beautiful day.